Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, one waste business is back on their routes after the winter storm, the challenges they face to pick up your trash. And President Trump's border czar is now in Minneapolis. We'll tell you what he said about a potential pullback in immigration operations.
And it's like deja vu all over again. We have advisories going into the weekend. Details coming up.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Parts of Kentucky still look like the Arctic, but at least we made it closer to freezing today. Now it's not going to get better though this weekend. Meteorologist Eric has the latest on this first ever weather day.
Yeah, no, we're only going to see highs in the teens for your Saturday. This is the advisory map. Right now you can see the majority of the WYMT viewing area is under a winter weather advisory. Go from Lee County in Virginia to Wise, Dickinson, Buchanan County. That is a winter storm warning. Now these advisories will go into effect Friday and last throughout the day on Saturday. For the complete timing, we do have that on the WYMT website, WYMT.com, as well as the app. Cold weather alerts also go into effect for the counties highlighted in light blue. So the southwestern portion of the WYMT viewing area through Campbell and Claiborne County, Lee County, Virginia, as well as Wise County. Temperatures right now in the 20s and 30s. You factor in that feels like temperature, not far off from the ambient temperature. That wind is pretty light, so maybe a degree or two off here and there. Now, as we go throughout the evening hours, that wind chill will drop back down into the mid-teens. We'll see single-digit wind chills as we go throughout the day. On Saturday, some places may see feels like temperatures below zero. Details coming up in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. Rumpke resumed trash pickup earlier this week after the weekend winter storm forced delays. Crews are trying to catch up, but icy roads are making the job difficult. As Amelia Lee shows us, safety comes first for workers across Kentucky.
Safety first. Do what you have to do to protect yourself, protect the people around you, including the customers.
Rumpke is playing it safe when it comes to winter weather. Matt Carpenter has worked for Rumpke for 6 years. He bundles up in the cold, wearing a coat, gloves, and boots. But staying warm isn't his only concern.
Don't take any risks. If you see a road that's solid white, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it.
Rumpke trucks have heat, but they lack four-wheel drive. This made delaying pickup crucial as they waited for conditions to improve.
They're actually horrible on ice. It don't take nothing for them to start sliding.
If you see folks with Rumpke trying to pick up your trash cans, you can make their job safer and easier. First, make sure to clear off any snow and ice from your driveway and sidewalks. Second, make sure your cans are accessible and visible.
Please be patient with us until we're able to get to your cans, and we will be picking up extra come next week to make up for it. We're not able to get everything, but we're doing our best.
The team ran Monday routes on Tuesday. They're even sending out extra trucks to speed up this process.
Safety is of the utmost importance to Rumpke, both in terms of our drivers and the communities we serve.
In Woodford County, Amelia Lee, WKYT.
If you are a Rumpke customer, you can stay informed on trash pickup through their website. Also, make sure you update your contact information to get weather delay alerts. Teams with the Kentucky Division of Forestry are in several southern Kentucky counties helping clear storm debris. Members of the State National Guard are also helping to move brush off the roads in Allen, Barron, and McCreary counties. The Division of Forestry says its teams have been helping clear down trees and roadways since the storm. In Wayne County, West Virginia, nearly 2,000 customers of Hope Gas were without gas after an outage was reported. That outage impacted those in Wayne as well as 2 other counties. Crews were summoned to fix the issue on site. A fire in Logan County, West Virginia resulted in the loss of one home. Firefighters were called to the home on Farley Street and Ballard Drive in Chapmanville this morning. Fire crews also say another home sustained heavy damage from the fire, and 3 adjacent houses sustained heat damage that melted their siding. Kentucky State Police arrested a Fleming County man after they say he was having inappropriate conversations with a minor. Troopers say they received a tip about the incident last month, prompting them to launch an investigation. They charged Joseph Sloan after he was reportedly having inappropriate conversations with women who were minors through Snapchat. He was charged with more than 40 counts of possession of matter portraying a sex performance by a minor. A renewed push from Kentucky lawmakers could drastically shift the power dynamics in Jefferson County public schools. Critics say the bill sends a message that Kentuckians cannot be trusted to pick their own school boards. Senate Bill 1 was discussed during a committee hearing today. The measure narrows responsibilities within certain districts, one of those being JCPS. This bill would make it so superintendents focus on day-to-day operations, personnel, and administrative management, while the Board of Education would look at long-term strategies. JCPS's superintendent is against the bill.
This bill is about adults, not students, and that is where our focus should be. This bill is about a power dynamic of the past, and I want to focus on what's ahead, the future of our children.
This legislation pretty much only applies to districts that meet specific size and operational criteria, which is JCPS. The bill comes as JCPS faces significant budget deficits. Those in favor of the measure say they can't keep waiting to make big changes.
I can completely appreciate your all's concern with changing the structure of the governance with SB 1. But I do think this is a strong move in a direction that can bring us a change that we need.
The bill passed the committee hearing and now moves to the full Senate. A Minnesota man is in custody charged with trying to break Luigi Mangione out of jail by impersonating as an FBI agent. Police say Mark Anderson arrived at the Brooklyn, New York detention center yesterday claiming to be a federal agent with a court order to release Mangione. A criminal complaint says prison officials asked for his credentials, but the man provided his Minnesota driver's license. They say he threw paperwork at the officers and claimed to have weapons in his backpack. A search uncovered a barbecue-style fork and a circular steel blade. President Donald Trump sent his border czar, Tom Homan, to Minneapolis this week after federal agents shot and killed 37-year-old protester Alex Preddy last week. As WYMT senior national correspondent Peter Zampa reports, Homan spoke to reporters for the first time since arriving in Minnesota.
President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, speaking to the press Thursday after meeting with city and state officials this week. Now, Homan says the plan is to pull back on operations in the area if local leaders cooperate.
We can start drawing down those resources as far as those looking for public safety threats being released and do it in the jail with much less people. So the drawdown is going to happen based on these agreements.
Homan wants federal agents to have more access to jails so they can take undocumented migrants into custody after arrest rather than having to track them down if they're released back into the community. He says operations are targeting public and national security safety threats, but Homan acknowledges they strayed from that mission in Minneapolis.
Anything can be improved on, and what we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient, by the book.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry has repeatedly said local police will not enforce federal immigration law. 2 protesters killed by federal agents. Constant confrontations and chaos in the streets have many on the ground and in Washington calling for an end to operations.
We're not interested in a change in tone. We're interested in a change in behavior on the ground in American communities across the country.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries not only wants to see operations end, he also wants to see Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem lose her job.
She needs to be put on ice permanently. She's got to go.
Now, while Homan says there is a drawdown plan, he also says he's not leaving Minneapolis until the problem is gone. Now, exactly what that means, currently unclear. Reporting in New York, I'm Peter Zampa.
Alex Preddy's family have now retained a lawyer who helped with prosecutions in the George Floyd case. Steve Schleicher served as a special prosecutor in the 2021 trial of Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Schleicher is representing Alex Preddy's parents, Michael and Susan, pro bono, according to a family spokesman. The federal government has quietly ended an immigration crackdown in Maine just days after it started. It comes as the Trump administration deals with the growing fallout from immigration enforcement in Minnesota, as we were just talking about. It was supposed to be a large-scale enforcement effort with about 1,400 targets identified by the Department of Homeland Security as criminal illegal aliens. Senator Susan Collins spoke with Secretary Kristi Noem, asking the White House to pause immigration operations in Maine and elsewhere.
I have strongly recommended to her that there be a pause on the enforcement surge in both Maine and in Minnesota so that we can have a far more targeted approach.
At this point, it's not clear why Homeland Security ended this specific operation. While Collins has been critical of the DHS, she has not yet joined other moderate Republicans who have called for Secretary Noem to resign. The Senate has blocked a new government spending bill. It comes as Democrats and the White House work on a deal to separate funding for the Department of Homeland Security from other departments. If the Senate cannot get all 100 senators on board with that move, other agencies like Health and Human Services, Labor, and Education face a lapse in funding. The deadline to vote is midnight tonight. If a deal is reached, the House would have to return to D.C. to vote, and final approval could be delayed until Monday. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a recent poll shows what the top economic concern is for Americans.
And in the world of weather, we have snow chances and much cooler temperatures in the forecast. Details coming up.